Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you again so much for joining me here. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a look here again, we got a nice little pump from Bitcoin, a 5% pump in like an hour and a half. That generally will cause altcoins to surge. However, in this case, this didn't quite push as hard as we wanted it to or expected it would, as most other altcoins are kind of underperforming today. I know it seems weird because we see some green across the board, but a lot of them were in the red, and it's just a situation in which a lot of altcoins are not responding super amazing to this. A lot of it has to do with the fact that we are just skyrocketing in Bitcoin dominance, so tons of money is flowing into Bitcoin. That can generally be a negative thing for altcoins. However, as that Bitcoin dominance curve starts to swing down, if and when it does, we will see some altcoins start to continue higher. So we're in a unique place right now. Just keep in mind, we got the Fed meeting tomorrow, a lot of weird stuff going on. This is probably just a little bit of a fake out and get everyone to go into a long position, and then sometime tomorrow, once the Fed meeting occurs, we're going to see a pretty significant drop. Again, that's just an anticipation. I hope it's the opposite. Price goes up, it's great. I have no problem with that. But on the same accord, at this point here, we want to treat the market with respect and kind of just pump the brakes and relax. Try not to get too FOMO at this point, right? It's easy to do, but it's something we definitely don't want to do. So let's take a quick look at the back-end data here and quickly understand some liquidation levels and kind of see where we're at and just double check an important couple of factors here. So when it comes to Solana, we can see some back-end data here. With liquidation, we got some heavy concentrations, about 140 as low as 129. We talked about 129 yesterday being a potential area of support, but also a more likelihood of the price going to that level, just based on the pattern that we're seeing with Solana. So keep in mind, that could still very well be a possibility. Right now, it's not necessarily a probability. We're right kind of in the middle of that range, but the general consensus here is last 7 days, we're kind of in the middle of either up or down, right? Could go up, could go down. Isn't it funny how that works? That is exactly how crypto trading is. It's like, what? The odds of something going up is 50%, the odds of 50% down. Anyways, you can flip a coin in most cases and be successful. However, the point of this liquidation is to increase the odds of success. Because if we know where there's a lot of liquidation, just like with Bitcoin, for example, if you take a look here, just really quick to give you perspective, we got about $55 billion in liquidation, upwards about 62.5 is a rough estimate. We had a nice big $40 billion liquidation event occur right there at about 61K, and now the price is coincidentally pulling back. It's no coincidence, folks. That's the sarcasm. That's exactly how it works, though. Liquidation events occur all the time, and they're there for a reason, okay? So again, at this point here, we can see there's a lot more liquidation on the downside than the upside. However, there's actually a significant amount to the upside as well, roughly the same if you kind of average it out. In other words, we got it somewhere in the range of probably about 4 to 5 billion, about 140 to 142. Equally the same here as well at approximately 125 to 129. So again, just kind of reaffirming and reiterating the fact that there's a lot of people thinking the price is going to go up, a lot of people think the price is going to go down. There's not like, it's not one-sided per se at this point, which is good and bad. Sometimes it can be good, but generally not great, because I like to know, what direction the price is going to head more so in that regard, and we're not really getting those indications. So let's go ahead and look at some other things here and quickly understand. And if we do take a look at the here, we're going to look at the macro here. We're going to draw out a trend line, just kind of get perspective of this guy here, see where we're at, because we are coming up on a pretty significant potential breakthrough. We're probably a few days away from that, and we still need to get above this descending trend, but generally speaking, we're trending closer to that, if you will. Let me go ahead and clean up the chart here, get some of these older patterns out of the way. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of talk a little bit about some moving averages here today and kind of see what that looks like. Because that's an important factor when you come to the daily. We are tentatively above the 20-day SMA. And as you can see here, it's not a foolproof plan, right? We closed above that 20-day SMA not 4 days ago. And at that point, the price action was looking good, and then enter the weekend, and we saw a pretty significant sell-off throughout the weekend, okay? So heaven forbid that happens again, we could see the price continue to pull back. So I wouldn't trust the 20-day SMA perfectly, but just know when we stay above that for a few days, that's generally construed as a positive sign that the market's moderately back on track, okay? Especially when we've been below it for so long. That's kind of where we're at. We are under 50 on the RSI. We want to be above that. We're not there yet, so we truly haven't broken bullish yet on this coin. Same thing with money flow index. It's still looking pretty good. We got a decent amount of money flowing into the coin. Just keep in mind that's a 14-day lag, so we're going to see 14 candles essentially averaging that out. TSI still has good strength, and MACD is still converging, so Generally, these are mostly favorable signs. We just want to be above this descending trend and specifically above the 50-day SMA. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. If we look at our point of control here, and the more local time frame, this is roughly what, since July is a rough estimate. We're looking at about 142 as that resistance shelf. So that's more so the macro point of control. We'll zoom in and kind of see what the local one is. But for the most part right now at this point, we want to presume that we're going to see some resistance when the price action enters the 139 to 142 range. Mainly because we have previous resistance here, previous local high, and we also have, of course, that point of control. It's kind of squeezing a little zone there for us. Also recognize too, we got this little box pulled up, this rectangle essentially, just kind of giving us indication there is liquidation at that level, somewhere in the range of, once again, about 4 to 5 billion is a rough estimate. Okay, so keep in mind there's probably a magnet or a magneticism that it will happen where the price action, if it gets close to that, we'll see a candle wake up and then whoop, right back down. Happened today also with Bitcoin, sweep of liquidation and price pulls back. Really, really common. Now again, sometimes it doesn't pull back dramatically, so I wouldn't expect if Solana goes up to that level, it's just going to drop instantly. We want to kind of reevaluate and understand at that time because we'd be testing that descending trend line and potentially breaking above 2, so that might be a very favorable situation. Between now and then, though, we want to recognize that this descending trend running fairly concurrent with the 50-day SMA on the daily and or the 200-day SMA on the 4-hour is kind of giving us an indication that we're in a position right now where we're still under a lot of resistance. However, today so far, again, this is still too early because Bitcoin is being kind of a manipulative monster. We can see here that 50 and the 20-day SMA all hanging out right there at that local point of control. So let's zoom out a little bit here so we can see that ever since we've been in this range, we can see the most amount of volume right there, really close to the current price point. So we're pretty close to the average amount of volume here. So 134, 135, getting a closure above that today would be awesome. I'd prefer to see the price close at 135.50 or higher because that's the local resistance here from recent. And that would be a very important thing to do, but you don't always get what you want. That's exactly how trading works, actually. In fact, you think you got it all figured out and the old reset button gets hit there. So take a look here at 50 on the RSI. This is a positive sign, telling us we have good momentum. Keep in mind that could be instantly fizzled out if Bitcoin makes a run back towards 60 or 59K. If we take a look here, MACD is converging, a very, very good sign as well, and TSI is getting closer to 0. A lot of these things are very favorable. Okay. I also like to see here, and again, this is a common characteristic, when the money flow index gets closer to 20, you generally see a bounce, or if it gets up closer to about 80, you'll see a rejection. Again, those are common characteristics. Again, it's higher risk though, because in most cases when you are taking a trade at 20 on the money flow index, most indicators are pointing down, and it generally is it's unfavorable to trade into that. Okay. Again, that's more of an overextension play. Different story altogether. Take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. We can take a look here. We can recognize we're above the cloud now. Big surprise with 2 massive volume candles. And Bitcoin has the exact same thing going on. I mean, look at this. This is the biggest middle finger you could see in the market right now. Everything's all well and good, and then all of a sudden just instant injection of billions of dollars into the market. Solana, being above that is nice, but I think it's still a little premature to presume that we're back on track. However, this is a very favorable start. Okay, so again, overall, we're looking pretty decent here with Solana. There is more propensity for further upside. Just know we're going to see some resistance if we do double top out at this 139, 140 range, and there's a lot of resistance at that area. So this descending trend line, I think, is important to respect until we get above it. But if you do insist on a long, just consider securing profits sometime between now and 139. It does seem favorable that this is going to continue to increase in value. However, please note that tomorrow is a Fed meeting. Trading into that is very, very crazy. What I was hoping for yesterday is to catch a quick short from Bitcoin on the way down, and then, of course, just kind of consider closing the trade before that Fed meeting. At this point now, everything just went instantly in the opposite direction. It totally happens, folks. I want to normalize it because it's super, super common. So just get used to it. If you heaven forbid, you took a bad call, you made a bad call, learn from it, continue to move on. Sometimes there's not even a lot of learning that can be done, because I mean, this is extremely aggressive and very uncalled for. There's no real reason for this, at least from a technical standpoint. Even fundamentally, like, why? Why did that happen? It's still a head scratcher, right? What I'm getting at is that with fundamentals tomorrow, there's a lot more things in play that we don't know what's going to happen. And majority of the time, you'll see a quick heartbeat. It goes like this, doot, 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 and then it's back to normal. Liquidating any potential heavy long or heavy short with large liquidation. So just know that's coming tomorrow. Heads up on that. especially with the inflation stuff coming through. It's a very unique market right now. Okay, anyways, that's all I got for you. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll look forward to seeing you later today in our next update, and we'll look forward to catching up with you another time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. CryptoCache.tag is the site link down below. You can message me there or through Discord, Telegram, and join our trading community. We got an awesome group of folks over here. Really awesome to be able to work with you guys and gals. Appreciate you very much. See you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.